I don't really see it behind the trees, but welcome to the reservoir. So, welcome to a true Zen venture. This is where a key coined the term Zen venture. Coming down to the reservoir and going for a little trip, circuit, so to speak, around this track and a bit of a swim. So on my Zen venture, all we need is a pool noodle, just in case you want to have a rest when we're swimming back, and then board shorts, and then bare feet. And then what we're going to do is start walking. Oh, it's just going to balance there, that's good. Start walking away from the car and down and around and along this dirt track coming up. Oh, excuse me. You're up. Awesome. And mountain bikers getting around here. There's some pretty good mountain bike tracks around up over the back you can check out. So this is a Nogra reservoir. I've been coming here now for about 2 years. More than that, probably since I've been in Brisbane, more like 5 years now. And I think it's just been a great trip for me to come here and fix this noodle up, which is not really holding itself in place like so. Great, okay. Coming here for about 5 years now, and I've found that most people do rehab or some sort of like mindfulness training or movement of their body, and I started coming down here and mountain bike riding to start off with, and then just swimming in the reservoir. And then I created this little circuit that I'm going to be doing today with you, where I walk along, and the first off I walk for about 500 meters barefoot on gravel. So big difference is when you're walking barefoot on gravel, obviously the first couple of times it's quite hard on your feet, especially if you wear shoes all the time. But then over time your calluses build up, you get used to the sensations, and every footstep you'll feel the rocks push up into different places of your feet when you're going along. And for me, like if you look into acupressure and different healing modalities like that, there's actually a lot in them where the bottom of your foot is mapped out into being all the different parts of your body. And so one thing I've noticed in society is we wear shoes so often, all the time. Like everywhere you see, people are wearing shoes or stuff on the bottom of their feet. And if you think about what that does, because there's so much sensitivity in our hands and our feet, hold that camera up higher, that well, I believe you're losing neural pathways to your feet, because you don't need to worry about your feet because they're always in this constant medium of shoe or sock or whatever is underneath them. So you don't feel anything on the bottom of your feet, that very sensitive area of your body. So coming down here and going for a walk, and usually I found over different periods of times that the best time to go for a Zen venture is midday, middle of the day. Sun's the highest in the sky. In summer, you find that the gravel and the rocks get quite hot, and so that will obviously be another challenging aspect to it, because with the ground's hot, it softens your feet up more, and then you feel the burniness. So sometimes you'll want to walk onto the shade or walk on grassed areas and kind of protect your feet so much so. And then at the very end of the walk, we get to the swimming part. So then you go into the water and the weight goes off your feet, and then you feel the softness of the water on the bottom of your feet, which is an amazing experience. Because if it's been a really hot day, your feet are really sore, you get there and you go, oh. But there's the only way you could feel that reward more so is if you experienced the trial of walking there barefoot all the way. So that's one aspect of the Zen Venture, put into a different philosophical way, so to speak. So that's one part where I go. Another thing is you don't have anything but your board shorts and a floaty device. Depending, some people do it without the floaty. I sometimes have it. I'm going to have it today because of the GoPro as well. So I want to be able to rest because I'll be probably using one handed all of the time. So you go with nothing. So it's very tribal in that aspect that you're walking along with nothing. You have nothing on you, nothing to worry about. You're just trudging through the bush, going on almost like a walkabout, so to speak. Just going through the gate here. Ooh. So some of you may be aware that the reason that I walk barefoot, or why I walk the way that I do, hey mate, how you going? Is that if you have a look at my joints on my hands and my knees, my ankles, they're quite swollen. So I don't walk fast in my day-to-day, and I made the choice a few years ago that I wasn't going to take medication for what's going on for me, much to the dismay of lots of people who believe in that method of healing. But when I was on the medication for so many years, I wasn't finding myself getting better at all. I found myself losing connection with my nervous system or my energetic system. Like it was working overtime to process the chemicals that I was putting into my body, or the medications, depending on what you want to call them. And so after a big event where I had my mate pretty much pull the pin on wanting to be friends with me, because he said, I just didn't know who you are. I don't recognize you anymore. Your energy is like sapped and stuff. And that's when I started to question about what the medication I was taking did to me. And the medication I was on was immune suppressants. And some people enjoy to take them, and they find that it suppresses their immune system so that their joints don't feel as eroded and not as sore. And they also take strong doses of steroid as a painkiller so that you can move and become more mobile, because it takes away the pain. But after finding that out and having my mate break down to me, I decided that I was going to get off that. And when I explored that as well, I found that not only was my immune system suppressed, my digestive system was suppressed, my energetic system, hence why my mate didn't want to be friends with me, because he said I'd lost my energy. My libido, my reproductive system, was suppressed. It was dampening my whole system because of the amounts of stuff that the amount of chemicals that I was putting into my body, making for what I felt my endocrine system, having to really try and digest what was going in there. And then from there, I went off all that stuff. I went cold turkey, which is not advisable. And then well, that's one form of healing. So let's find another form all the other forms that I can do. Like, where does healing come from? What's an optimal environment to create healing in your body? What is healing? So that led me on to Ayurvedic medicine, Chinese herbs, meditation, diet, and one of the clinching factors of not sticking with what I like to say a Western form of medicine is when I spoke to the doctors, because doctors aren't nutritionists, and I asked them, if I eat this food, does it matter? And they would say no. However, from the basis of Western medicine, if you see a quote by Hippocrates, it's "let food be thy medicine." And I was like, well, where is the congruence here? Like, it seems as though that they're trying to fix something all the time. There's no healing. There's more of curing, and there's a big difference between those modalities, I find. So then went on to meditate long periods, do different things, and then found that it was a mindset as well. And even going into Chinese herbs, they'll talk about genetics and arthritis in the body and inflamed joints comes from pent-up anger in some thoughts. And I found that quite interesting, because my mum always said, and my grandpa said, that never let him get too angry because he loses control. And I was like, wow, that's really interesting. And then seeing my relationship of my mother and father as a young kid was volatile. And then also from my mum, after she got away from my dad, she can be quite angry towards people and things at times, but she doesn't address it. It just she suppresses it, and it comes out in other ways. And this one doctor said to me, well, it keeps going down the chain and down the chain and down the chain until eventually down the line either someone addresses it or it comes out in other ways. It comes out in rheumatoid arthritis, or you learn to dispel the gas tank, so to speak, and let those built up energies release and be in the world. So there was another form that I came across, and I was like, well, it's interesting. And then from there, what I've done is I've pretty much just started to form my life, because I studied yoga and I taught for a while. Form my life into a way that I live in a meditative way. So for those of you who aren't aware of this, I used to be known as Ben, and I changed my name to Zen probably about 6 years ago. And it was in a meditation that I was doing. I felt some presence say to me, Zen. And when I said it back to myself, it felt like that was what my name was now to become. So that's when I changed it in Depot and everything. And that has been a really interesting experience in itself, because changing your initial label that you get is very confronting to your family, your friends, people who know you as that name. And so I found that people who have fixed beliefs and certain one-sided understandings of the world, they see you as this thing. And then as soon as you change that, I got a lot of, what about your mum? She named you that. And that's like, that was the name she gave you. And it was like, it was ownership. Well, that's terrible, isn't it? Shouldn't she be happy even if I name myself Arseface or something? Like, does it really matter? Like, they're just words, they're vibrations. So, and isn't it my choice to be able to be who I want to be in life? And on that note, pause and let's have a look at the res. Fucking beautiful. Not sure if I can swear on YouTube. We'll see if that gets uploaded. So where I'm kind of go is I walk up the track up there, goes around and goes way up, and then I swim back from this little inlet just to the left there, back around those lilies, back up to here, and then back up the path. Yeah, so let's keep continuing. So then, yeah, so I changed my name. Some people call me Zen. Some people accepted it straight away and they were like, Zen it is. And other people said, no, I've always known you as Ben, so I'll stick with Ben. And then I felt in myself even that the tension of attachment to that change of name. So then when people would call me Ben at first, I found myself get angry, because I was like, well, they're not respecting who I want to be or who I am. Like, how dare they? Like, they should be able to let me be what I want to be. And it's like, well, some people haven't ever experienced letting go, or they haven't, that's what they see you as, and that's what they choose to see you as. So if you're forcing them to want to see you as something else, well, then that's going against free will. So then I found myself letting go, and it took a while. And then now some people call me, some family members call me Ben. Most of my friends call me Zen. Some people who used to know me call me Benny, just out of slip of the tongue, because that's what they remember me as. And it doesn't really matter. But to change that initial vibration or your name has been an opening in different avenues as well, because I started to study ancient traditions and ancient cultures about how when a boy finds his path, so to speak, or shifts from the understanding of being a young boy in the tribe, and then goes on his journey of initiation. Then when he comes back, he chooses a name for himself. And then I found that as a resonating occurrence amongst a whole bunch of different ancient cultures and traditional cultures, so to speak. And then I was like, oh, wow, that's really interesting that came to me all of a sudden. And then I changed myself. I changed my name, and I learned that process as well, that everything is transient in the world. And if you want to change your name, you can. Like, yes, there is a process, and then afterwards there will be a bit of time where you're explaining that this is who you are now and that's who you used to be. But it's all good. If you want to be that, well, you can be that. It's all your choice. Yeah. And that's that. So that's what I feel this Zen Venture is as well. It's like a process of initiation. Every time you go here, it takes you away from any sort of attachment to the everyday world, because you're just walking barefoot, which keeps you very present because you're feeling with every step. Also because I'm wearing board shorts and that's it. All my skin, I'm feeling the different sensations. At the moment it's quite humid, which is one thing that I found interesting about doing these videos, is like you're experiencing my voice, you're experiencing the visuals of what I'm showing you, and that's pretty much it. Like, that is totally it. Look at this butchie bird. Hey buddy. We'll come back to that video, but you can experience different stuff like this. Look at him. Hey buddy. Hey buddy. Hey. Hey buddy. Oi. He's a brown one. I think he might be a baby. Maybe we can say hello to him if we get closer. So this is another thing about the ventures as well, is you always see different stuff. Like, nature's always in flux. Oh, look at that butterfly as well. Hey buddy. Hey buddy. Yeah, he must be a young'un. Little butchie. Never seen him with the brown like that though. Maybe a certain type. Hey buddy. Hey buddy, hey. Hey buddy. Beautiful. He's checking me out. He's like, what are you doing here, mate? Got any food? Yeah. What's that? You and your camera. Alright. We'll let him go about his business. Keep cruising along. Yeah, so you're getting a certain sensory input from your eyes and your ears, but then that's it. So the best way to do is hopefully you all get out there and experience this in your own way. So you don't have to do an adventure like this, but get out and experience nature. And it's one thing that I've noticed in my time of studying philosophies and being present in the world is as a society, our civilization of humans as we know it now are really removing ourselves from nature. We're thinking because we are able to reflect that we are alive, we're segregating ourselves from all these other things that don't. But we are just as important as all those things, because Obviously everyone is quite aware if there's no trees, there's no us. Check this tree out. Oh, I don't know, someone's probably, looks like someone's had a bit of a kick and axe it. Bloody beautiful. Colours in that thing. Yeah, the wind just picked up. Yeah, that's crazy, check that out. Look at the... Oh, the ripples are just not coming this far in. It's just stopping as it hits the lilies. It's like there's no lilies here, but it's cool. Oh, it's starting to rain. And that's the thing about Zen Venture. It starts raining, well, it's just gonna get wet anyway. So, water's pretty cool, but that rain is a lot cooler than the water. Right, here we go. It's really hard to hold a GoPro and do this. Well, it looks like we might be having a shower on the way back. The wind seems to be going my direction. Sometimes it isn't, and then when I get up around the corner here, you just get waves about your head height. You get smashed. Other people. The noodle's great. You can put it between your legs. See the back end? No, you can't. And then I just do running man. So you're gonna pull your legs along. And for me, because I haven't run in a while, it just gives me that full range and that resistance from the water. Plus about 1 meter down, there's a thermal barrier where it's really cold. So because my joints got all hot from the walk, I get that nice cooling off iciness from the water as I kick my legs through it. It's fucking great. And then sometimes, well lately anyway, I've been just expressing my voice out in the reservoir, but in a way that's respectful, because I could just scream and yell stuff and say words, but then that might alarm people. So I really love gibbons and monkeys, so I've just been doing different monkey calls, like whoop. Sometimes you can hear the echo. depending on which way you face. Whoop! 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 I think there's some people in the where I just came from. They're making noises back. Whoop! Yeah. It's so funny, everyone kind of whoops back. And, whoa. Whoop! Over that way. And then sometimes that's like quieter one, I can do bigger ones. Sweet, love it. Oh, sun shower. So placid. So if you guys haven't been down here before and you live in Brisbane, Enoggera Reservoir, it's a beautiful place. And something about being in a massive body of fresh water, like just afterwards my skin feels really soft. I do believe that this place is a place of healing. And I've been coming here, like I said, for 5 years or so, and every time I come out and I just run in on the noodle like I am in the center, or go for a swim or go for a mindful walk with bare feet, it just brings me back to that present moment about just being in life and just enjoying every moment for what it is. Sometimes when I'm swimming, I find things like this. I'm not sure if you can see that. There's a bottle in there. What a bloody thing to do, eh? Just leave your bottle in here. I'm gonna go in and get it, so I won't be able to talk because I have the thing in my mouth, but I don't get it. I have to be careful not to disturb the I have to be careful not to disturb the lilies too much. Oh, push aside. Oh, gently. There we go. Oh, sweet. Just take your rubbish with you, people. And that is the swimming part of the Zen Venture. That's a wrap on another Zen Venture. Thank you again for watching and joining my video. Hit a like and subscribe if you like on YouTube so that they can just let you know when I've got videos on. And yeah, peace out.